Okay, now we're going to learn how to use the mid function. The mid function is used to extract a specified number of characters from the middle of a string or a cell reference. So I've got an example here with a few different street names and then two-letter state abbreviation and then a zip code. And I can use the mid function to extract the two-letter state abbreviations as follows. Equals mid, and then I'm going to select the string or the text that I want to extract the data from. So I'm going to select this cell. And often when I use the mid function, I combine it with the find function. And you can learn more about the find function in the find video. Again, I'll use the find function in conjunction with the mid function as follows. I'll find, in this case, a comma, because you can see in each of these street names there's a comma that precedes the two-letter state abbreviations. And then I'm going to select the text. And because the comma is two spaces before the first letter in the state abbreviation, I'm going to add 2 so that this formula knows to find this comma and then move it 2 forward. And that's where we're going to start the mid formula. And because each of the states are two-letter abbreviations, I can then hard code the number 2 for the number of characters I want to extract. So if I close the parentheses and hit enter, you'll see I've extracted ny. Here, if I copy the formula down, tx, and then lastly, ca. Now, sometimes the formula can get a little bit more complicated. And that's when the data that you're trying to extract can be variable. They're not all necessarily going to be two-letter state abbreviation. Here I've got a list of pitchers and the teams they played for in 2021. And you can see the last name of the pitchers sort of embedded in the middle of this string. And I'm going to do a formula leveraging the mid function to extract out the last name. So this can get a bit complex, but bear with me here. I'm going to do the mid function again, and I'm going to reference the cell that I'm looking to extract from. And here I want to start by finding the first space and adding 1. So now I know I'm starting at the first letter of the last name. And as far as the number of characters, what I'm going to do is I'm first going to find this second space, and then I'm going to subtract out this first space to leave me with just the number of characters needed for the last name. So I'm going to find the space again within this text, but now I want to start after the first space. So I'm finding that first space and adding 1. And I want to subtract out, again, the character number of that first space. So I'm going to find it and close that out. And now I'm going to subtract 1 and close this out. And you'll see I've got Burns. And if I copy this all the way down, I've now extracted the last name, which was again in the middle of each of these strings. So again, real quickly, what I've done here is I'm using the mid function, and I'm going to start at the first space, but I'm going to move it forward by 1 to start with the last name. And then for the number of characters, I'm finding the second space, subtracting the first space in order to determine the number of characters to extract.